We're going to talk about safety. Where to start? Safety. It's summertime, so I know a lot of us are going to get out there and walk, right? Do you guys walk? You walk on, we have paths,
Yes.
greenways. I know a lot of people who walk on those greenways, they put their earbuds in and they just go to work. They just walk in and go to work. And that's fine, that's what you're out there to do. But we've had a couple incidents out on the greenway where some females have been snatched up, attempted to be sexually assaulted. Every one of those incidents, the female won. They fought back and they fought back very bravely and they won. But with that said, if you're walking on the greenway, I recommend maybe put one earbud in. If you do have both of them in, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. A lot of people, like I said, they get out there and they get to work. And they just walk in, but a lot of them don't realize that you just probably walk past the person that's probably going to assault you. It's somebody that's sitting in the woods or standing. Just make sure that you're always looking around and knowing your surroundings. That's going to be the theme of the day, is knowing your surroundings. If you have a dog, walk with your dogs. That was one of the ways that one of the females were able to fight back the little dog. And a lot of people think I have a German Shepherd, so that makes me feel a little bit comfortable. But she had like a little dog, a little anger biter, and that's exactly what the dog did. She was in trouble. She was a little dog. I don't know how much was enough to distract him. To allow her to do it. So now now he has two things he has to think about. One of the things that we do in the police department is we talk about putting somebody else in the reactionary position. So it's easy because they already know what they want to do. He wanted to assault this young lady, and he had a plan. Well, he wasn't expecting her to fight back. He wasn't expecting her dog to start biting. So now he had to think, how is he going to get out of this situation? And she put him into reacting, how to defend himself. That's one of the things that you want to do is to take them out of their game plan and put them and pretty much take control of it. And so, some of the things that we can do is everybody, those little key rings. I don't know if I'm going to pull it, it's going to be kind of loud for the library. So they're not coming here, but this is real good. I mean, remember when you were young and somebody was attacking you, they told you like yell fire or just make a lot of noise. So that right there, they're not expecting that. So now you have to put them in problem solving skills. Pepper spray. One thing about pepper spray is you have to realize that it's good. Pepper spray is fine, but just realize that you also might get pepper sprayed. So that's something you're going to have to work through. Now those are probably streams and not the bursts, but it can happen. So you just be prepared for that as well. So that's something you have to fight through as well. So you have one as well. So
So my question is, do you think that would be best to carry instead of the pepper? So I'm short of stature, so if I'm fighting and I spray, that's probably going to come back on me.
So let me tell you, so some of the things, some of the things that we have around our waist, the reason why we have so much stuff is some people react to them in different ways. So, there's like, if you pepper spray somebody, you just might tick them off. And you're like, that didn't work. Okay, I'm going to go to like my baton. That didn't work, so now I'm going to have to go to my taser, and so pepper spray is good. Just understand it may not work, but it also might work. I mean, everything that I'm saying is a plan. Nothing is guaranteed. This is good because as soon as, and everybody will hear this, and you're in the parking lot and you hear a kid crying, what's the first thing you do? You go and look, like, what's going on over there?
What's going on?
So, something like this where it's making a loud noise, people are going to look. And the person who's trying to cause you harm also knows that that's their game plan, they don't want to be seen. so when you pull this out, or you're screaming and you're hollering, and now they think they're gonna be seen, now they have their problem-solving skills, you put them in problem-solving mode, and now they have to figure out how to get out of this situation. So, and that's the main game plan, is to put them in problem-solving mode. So this is, nothing wrong with pepper spray. You can, like I said, you know, you could use it, just be mindful that it may not work. It might get into your eyes. You know, you can pull this thing and, you know, it's making this huge loud noise, but nobody may not be around you for 2 miles, so now this doesn't work.
So when you pull that, does it extend the sound? Because then you push the button first.
No, it's just a rip thing, so it looks like this probably is a flashlight.
Oh.
It looks like it has a light on here. So once you pull this pin, it'll keep making that sound until you put it back in.
Okay. So if you throw it, it's going to still make the sound.
Yep. So, I mean, those are good. I like those. You know, another thing that if you walk in and somebody, you know, if somebody comes up to you and they want to rob you, or they, you know, give me your wallet, you know, here's another thing that people do, what we say to do is, you know, you can hand it to them, that's fine, you know, that's what they want. You could throw it on the ground, because now they have to bend down to get it, and it gives you enough time to go away. But everything I'm saying is one of the things that we do in the academy is we do things over and over and over and over again. And the reason why we do it over and over and over again is because when you get into a situation, and we tell people this, so if you're gonna use this, you know, maybe practice pulling it a couple times. You know, if you're gonna use pepper spray, you could go out to a bush and, like, you know, kind of just know how it feels to push that button. You know, that's so when we go out, like sometimes we'll go out and, you know, shoot our pepper spray, or we'll test our taser out, but we do that because when you get into these situations, your mind, your tunnel vision gets really small. And I've been in situations, you know, where I'm like, you know, I'll do this, and this is what's gonna happen, this is what's gonna happen. And then you get there and you're like, I didn't do any of that. One of my favorite things is Mike Tyson has a saying, it says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So until you get punched in the face, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna, you know, karate chop them here. No, if you had never karate chopped anybody, you are not gonna karate chop anybody when it comes down to it. I promise you. One of the stories that I had about tunnel vision that I hadn't lived through it in this job was, we had a pond. It was wintertime, and kids fell into the pond. They broke their ice. Well, adults went out there and they got them, but the adults then fell into the ice. And so we all got there, and it was, you know, me and another officer, and everybody else was out there watching. And the guy threw a rope down, and it wasn't long enough to reach them. And so we're trying to throw it out there and throw it out there and throw it out there, and we couldn't reach. And I actually started to take off my gear. My partner's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, you know, you're going to fall into the ice too and become part of the problem. But the thing is, and then of course, and then in hindsight, like, you know, why didn't we go to the pool and get the life preserver and throw it out there? Why didn't, you know, you take off a shoe? And basically what we had to do was anchor down the rope, because it was too light to get out there. But in that time mindset, we weren't. I've never trained to get people out of water. Fire came, it was like 2 seconds. And, you know, that's one of the things that kind of haunted me is, you know, they would have died. And in fact, I couldn't figure out to take a shoe off and to weight it down. And so that's why I tell people now, you know, having to go through that experience is practice with practice. If you have a plan, if you say, this is what I'm going to do, run through it a couple times. You know, if you're walking and you're sitting there, just walk, pull the pin. You know, walk, pull the pin, grab it out of your pocket, pull the pin, repeatedly take it wherever you're going to do. Take it out of your pocket, pull the pin. Just practice it. So that's what we go. We do a lot of safety meetings as community coordinators, and that's one of the things that I preach because I've been through it. I've been through that tunnel vision. Another thing is when you go out to shopping centers, same thing applies. You know, we get a lot of robberies where people are just walking out to their cars, and because there's a lot of people out there, and so somebody walking by, and it takes real quick, you know, for somebody just to pull a gun out and say, you know, give me your wallet, your purse, and then they run out. It takes maybe about 2 seconds. Make sure, you know, so, you know, I said, hey, how you doing? You know, it's a difference. So if for example, like this, is when you're coming, you're like, you're trying to avoid them. Well, now they know that, you know, they kind of got you. It's a mind game. But now if you do this and you're walking, you're like, hey, how you doing? You know, now they know it's a different presence that you just gave them. It's more of an empowerment presence that you gave them versus a timid. Don't be ashamed. I always tell people, I don't care about her. If I hurt your feelings and you're a good person, I'm sorry. I don't know you, and it's just me and you, right? And you might be a good person, but I don't know who you are. And I'm sorry about your feelings, but I'm gonna go ahead and go home safe. In Charlotte, and I'm assuming it's everywhere, we have a huge problem with car break-ins. A lot of times it happens at the house, a lot of times it happens at the stores. When you're going shopping and you have your bags, you know, you want to make sure that you remove all your items from the car. I mean, out of sight. When I say, so if they're walking by and they see a bag, they don't know if it's a diaper bag. They don't know if it's a bag full of dirty clothes. They just see a bag and they want it. So they're going to break the window. If it's not unlocked, if it's unlocked, they're just going to go in and get it. So remove your items and lock your doors. And it sounds so, it's not really, it sounds so easy and so simple that you would think that who's not doing this? And I'll tell you, a whole bunch of people not doing it. Our number one crime breaking, or crime down here is larcenies from vehicles. People just leaving items in the cars and not locking their doors. So if you don't want to break, if you don't want to fix a broken window, or you like your iPhone or your bag, remove it, put it in the trunk, put it, you know, especially like we talk about going to the park. You go to the park and walk in, if you don't get your purse, put it in the trunk. You know, there's a lot of people who put it on the floorboard and we don't live in that world anymore where you can just leave and your door unlocked and nobody's going to bother it. You know, I always tell people, if you feel comfortable with leaving a bag of gold into your driveway, well then go ahead and leave your car unlocked because it's going to get taken. So just think about it that way. It's going to get taken. You know, I've never been a victim of a car break-in, you know, knock on wood, but I make sure I do things to not become a victim. So let's see, houses. Let's talk about it here. I know you're talking about alarms and cameras. Did anybody have like alarms, cameras?
Yeah.
Both.
And timers.
Timers, yes.
Like timers.
Yes. So when it comes to break-ins, house break-ins versus car break-ins, or versus robberies, versus, you know, there's certain crimes that you can never stop a crime from happening if somebody was determined to do so, but we can help to prevent it. And so with house break-ins, you know, if you get a TV, I'm just going to start from the outside in. If you get a TV, say you get a TV, a big TV, what do you do with the box?
Cut it up.
Cut it up. You cut it up. Don't keep it. Well,
I keep it to put it back in just in case I have to. Yeah.
okay. What in school, right?
I don't put it out because I don't want to put it out and
Don't put it out.
that, you know.
Chop it up. If you're going to throw it away, cut it up and put it into the recycle bin. Don't put it out there because now everybody knows they're like.
And you see that so much,
Yes,
don't you?
you really
I see that.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah, and sure enough, you know, a week later they get their house broken into because they've advertised that they just bought the 70-inch TV. So cut it up. So that's from the outside in. Now going up to the house, you know, a lot of people, you have to do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what makes you feel comfortable. You know, so we've had a question like, well, you know, what about cameras? What about, you know, keeping the lights on at nighttime or, you know, turning them off at nighttime? And I'll say it's all about what makes you comfortable. If your alarm goes off, if they can't reach you, well then they'll call us. And dispatch it comes out as priority 3 call, which means dispatch has 10 minutes to dispatch it to us. So once we get dispatched, well, if the call is on one side of my division and I'm on the other side of my division, it could take me another 20 minutes to get there. So we're talking about a 35 minute delay. You know, they're all good systems. It's all deterrent. There's a deterrent system. You have a pretty sign in front of your yard.
That's all you need, that sign. That's basically it, because things are in and out in less than 5 minutes.
Yes.
That's it.
Everything, I mean, it's all deterrent, you know, because looking at it, even with the sign, we've had people who, you know, see the sign, kick the sign over, their front door open. But, it's just all, it's all the deterrents. But if that's what makes you feel comfortable, then that's great, because, you know, some people, a lot of, you know, a lot of people, you know, that's old school, you know, that's what they're comfortable with, you know, so that's fine. You know, now we moved in time and we have a ring and 1,000 other ones. Now with those, you're in control. You pretty much bypass the middleman, which is the alarm company, and you become the alarm company. So you notify us when, you know, I mean, we did it all the time. We had it yesterday, you know, like I see somebody at my back door and they call us and they call 911. It's called a check the welfare. So we'll go and you pretty much just bypass, you know, ring, you have ring, no, you have ring. And that's great. You know, we love ring. We've actually been able to solve a lot of cases with ring. Because when they ring that doorbell, you know, or they break a threshold, it turns on the camera. I mean, they don't have to ring the doorbell.
Right, they get them right on, yeah.
It automatically alerts and it turns on that camera. So we actually had a guy break into apartments, and they put, actually, it was pretty, I didn't even think about this, but they took the Ring doorbell and put it on their people. And so and actually released it to the news, and that was just how we.
What did they do?
They put the Ring doorbell on the people.
Oh, the people, oh, yeah, okay.
So, in the, you know, he rings the doorbell and it turns on because the guy didn't put, he pressed that button. You can see he's holding the crowbar.
Oh my God.
On the crowbar. So even as, and you seen the picture Thursday, so we were able to actually catch them. So those are fantastic.
So my husband's right and I'm wrong?
What? You know, it's a lot of
What I wanted to do, my husband, listen, he chose George Washington. I mean, he's really very cheap. I wanted the whole thing. I wanted the whole system, you know, the whole shebang. And he's like, no, all we need is ring. That's all we need, you know, is ring, so.
Listen, like I said, it is what makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
If you, I have 3 cameras on my house, one on the front door, the back door, and then up on the side. We have an alarm system, but I have a German Shepherd, and she makes me feel comfortable because I leave the window open for, like the blinds open for a reason. And I want whoever to come to see her sitting there in the window. She was really good in that front.
Her bark. Not her bite, but her bark.
Yeah, she has a great, you know, she rings that doorbell, you would think, I mean, we ordered like pizza or something, and the people are like way back here. But the reason why, I'll tell you the reason why I actually got a dog, and it's because I actually work third shift, and somebody on Saturday came to ring the doorbell. And I thought maybe, you know, because like on Saturday, Jehovah's Witnesses come by and or somebody's selling something. So I didn't get up. I'm like, you know, because usually they ring like twice and then they leave. Well, this person kept ringing like ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I'm like, and so I get up and you have that window by the front door, and I see somebody looking in. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. I'm like, and then he gets on the phone and he says, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, nobody's here at this house. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And so I get up real quick and I take my gun down, and when I go by and he had his hands kind of behind his back, and then, you know, I'm like, you know, I yelled at the door, you know, let me see your hands, and he puts his hands up over the door. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, he said he came in here to see Joe, and I'm like, dude, there's no Joe that lives here. I was like, there's never been a Joe that lives here, and he was like, I think it's time for you to leave. So when he left, he had backed his car all the way into the driveway, and the trunk already popped. When you have people actually come to, you know, ring is easy because you can actually answer through the program. If somebody does come to your door and they're ringing the doorbell, you don't have to open the door. I recommend if you don't know who they are, don't open the door. But his partner was actually 2 doors down and doing the same thing. And here's what's funny about him is that he went to a former South Carolina football player linebacker's house, and then he chased him down the street. So they picked two wrong houses in the neighborhood. So, but if somebody comes to the door, you don't have, like I said, you don't answer. You don't have to answer if you know. I recommend not answering if you don't know, but let them know that you're there. So say something. Say, you know, may I help you? You know, because a lot of people when they break into houses, like they don't want to be seen. You know, when they break into houses during the day, they break into cars at night because those are the times where people are asleep at night. People are at work. Supposed to, you know, the majority of people are at work during the day. So say something. Say, may I help you? You know, what do you need? You know, no things. Just let them know that somebody is in the house. Because we've had people actually kick in doors while people are in the house and they didn't say anything. And we get those 911 calls where, you know, they're behind their closet, you know, and so we have to rush in there to get to them and you know, before they discover that they're in the house. You know, we had kids, we tell the same thing to kids, so tell your kids the same thing. Grandkids is, you know, we have a 12-year-old girl who was in the house when they kicked in the door. You know, just tell them to make some type of noise, turn a light on, you know, anything. So that's another thing. But yeah, but the alarm system, basically everything is about what you feel comfortable with. You know, at nighttime we had a lady who said, well, should I turn my lights on or turn my lights off? Now, I turn mine on, but here's the problem with that is your home becomes a fishbowl at nighttime. So during the daytime, when people look at the house through the windows, they can't see in because of that reflection. At nighttime, when you turn the lights on, well, they can see in and you can't see out. So, you know, one lady said, well, I like to turn them off because I can see out. And that's fine, you know, that's fine. That's what makes you feel comfortable. I like to turn them in. I like to turn them on because I want to see what's out there. Now, granted, you're right. I couldn't see if somebody was standing, you know, behind a bush, or somebody standing, you know, somewhere looking into the house, because of that glare, it can only go so far. You know, your lights, eventually you're gonna outrun your lights. So lights, you can only see so far, but they can see inside the house. And that's why you make sure you keep your blinds closed. You see everybody's TVs. You can see, you know, everybody's alarm systems, where they're at, you know, their games, everything. So keep your blinds closed at nighttime because, like I said, they can see in, you can't see out. When it comes to safety, yeah, I know you said you were doing some of the things on the check.
Well, yeah, like I said, I have timers. I don't like to come into a dark house, and when I'm away, you know, lights come on at different times, and so people don't really know if I'm home or not.
Yep, I use those. I had those too. Then I did the same thing. So I had, you know, I had this one room I just didn't use. I literally bought a lamp and set it on the ground, and so it would turn on at like 9:22, and then but it'll go off at like 9:25. So it looked like somebody came in and turned it off.
That's great.
So I did, you know, that's good. And then of course now those, you know, like just like alarm systems, everything evolves, and now we have smart lights. And you can do that now, you know, from your phone with the Philips little smart lights, and you can turn on lights, turn off lights. Those are pretty good. They're inexpensive as well, unless you want the colored one. They're like $100. But I think the light bulb and stuff. I need to look. I keep saying I want to look into those myself. Because my sister has some of them, and they're really cool. Because her husband, you know, just turns on, like when she's in Atlanta. And when we were driving up, he just turned the porch lights on.
Mm-hmm.
So those, you can look into those as well. You know, that's another thing that maybe, you know, will make you feel a little bit comfortable with your husband.
Let me tell you what I did do. We have solar lights all over my home. So if you come and turn my block, I put the solar spotlights on the home. So as soon as it gets dark, my house is kind of lit up.
Motion lights. Motion lights are good, because once again, nobody wants to be seen. So when they're creeping around and that light pops on, now it kind of puts them, once again, in problem solving, right? Did somebody see us? I remember on third shift, we would get an alarm call, and I'm supposed to be there, I'm looking at you to make sure nobody broke into your house, and the motion light would come on. I'm like, and I'm supposed to be, so can you imagine what it feels like someone who's not supposed to be there? So motion lights are good. What else, does anybody else have anything that?
Well, me being from Chicago, everybody there has 2 doors. You go to answer the door, you already got access to me. So the first thing I did was I went and had a security door. And sure enough, me and one other neighbor had the same doors. But everybody else, before my neighborhood got built out, and there were no houses across the street for people to look, everybody got broken into except for me and this other person with the 2 doors, because they would kick the door open, and it's so easy for that door to open up. I have 2 doors on the front, 2 doors on the back. The screen security door, because the latch goes up into the door jamb.
But my grandparents had the same type of doors. So I know exactly what kind of doors you're talking
You
about.
say you're not talking about the heavy metal doors with the,
No, it looks like a glass, it looks like it's made of glass, but it's that tempered glass.
so it doesn't break.
And,
It breaks, but it might not shatter.
right.
The doors that we have are probably on everybody's house right now is just a suggestion. It's like a suggestion, not because when they kick the door in, you're right, what it does, even if that lock is thrown, they just kick through the door frame. So when they kick the door in, when you go in, you'll see the actual frame, 15 feet away from the door. So embracing the frame and actually building the door to lock into the frame is the best way to actually secure a door. And that's a whole nother, that's money.
I also saw on YouTube where just keeping what you have now, but I think the screws are like 2 inches.
Yeah.
You want a 4-inch.
You want to get it into the frame of the house.
That really helps to, reinforce it. So
You want to get it into
that's all you did.
into the frame of the house, like the studs.
Yeah.
Anything you ever want to know about security is online.
Yeah.
Anything you ever think about and you want to buy is online. A lot of people are like, oh, what about lights? We get a lot of questions. What about lights that light up along walkways and whatnot? I'm like, well, hold on. And like, here it is right here. So, look, anything you have a question, you think I wonder if this is, what can I do to light up here? Or what kind of light can I buy for right here? What kind of door lock? What kind of door jamb? Look it up. It's all here now.
Quick question, what do you feel, how do you feel about arming yourself?
Arming?
Yeah.
That's once again, that is a personal preference. Of course, there's a lot of people out there who are armed. It's a personal preference, though. Once again, that is, just like pepper spray or just like that, you have to know your tool. You have to know it, because we get into a lot of incidents where, and unfortunately a lot of women will get guns and never go to the range. They'll never shoot it. They'll never, and then when it comes down to it, a lot of people end up getting killed by their own gun. Because they get into that tunnel vision and they'll bring it out and they're like, they've never, ever pulled the trigger before. So, it's fine. It's a personal preference. But inside and out, know how to unload it, know how to, I went to a range the other day, and actually, just because you're a female, and, I wasn't dressed, I just dressed normal, and, all the range guys were standing behind me, and so when I started shooting, they were like, I see them out of the corner of my eye kind of back away, and then when I finished, they're like, oh, yeah, you know what you're doing, huh? And I was like, I didn't tell my other police officer, I was like, yeah, I shot a couple times. But, you know, that's one of those things, know your tool, because that it is real thin, and if you don't know how to use it, somebody else probably will and take it from you. You know, a lot of guns that are taken from the victims and used on them. So, but I'm not against it. You know, just know. I say, before I became a police officer, I never carried a gun. I just didn't. Matter of fact, I never even owned a gun. And now I own one. And
I used to be in the military, and I was security police.
okay.
So I took the class here, and you know, not only do you have to be familiar with it, you know, with your weapon, but you got to be familiar with the laws.
If they're running out, then you have a way to close the door and to secure yourself, then you're not in danger.
Like you said, your mind gets so strong because you're in that tone. You're just wanting to defend yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Rehearse, like knowing your weapon, knowing your plan.
Thank you for that, Officer Brooks. This is just a great conversation. I do have just two more questions. One, what have you seen in your experience when it's a home break-in? Are they breaking in through the door, or is it normally through the window? Is there anything that's more consistent?
No.
Okay.
It's whatever is convenient. I mean, we get a lot of back doors. You know, the houses that face the woods. You know, that clearly they don't want to be seen.